All right, let's jump right in. There's this invisible revolution happening at Europe's borders. And nope, it's not about more fences or guards. It's all about artificial intelligence. Today, we're going to break down exactly how the EU is using AI to decide who and what gets to cross into its territory.
Let's just start with this number, because it really tells you everything you need to know about the scale of this. Between 2015 and 2024, the European Union has poured around 376 million euros into AI-powered projects for its borders and customs. That is a massive, massive bet on a complete technological overhaul.
So the big question is, right, what does a 376 million euro AI border actually look like? In this explainer, that's what we're doing. We're going to follow the money and see what kind of tech is being built, from AI systems that watch the seas to scanners that can literally see inside a sealed steel container.
Okay, to really get this, we've got to look at the big picture first. This isn't just one single giant project. Think of it more as a huge, decade-long mission to build what they're calling a smart border.
So that huge number, 376 million euros, it's being spread out across 75 completely separate research projects. The whole idea is to create and test a brand new toolkit, a whole suite of advanced technologies, to basically upgrade the EU's external borders.
Now, it's really important to get this. The border is kind of two different things at once. You've got border management, which is all about the people crossing, travelers, security checks, that sort of thing. And then you have customs controls, which is focused on all the stuff being moved. And the AI projects we're talking about, they cover both.
And this chart here breaks it down for us. You can see exactly where the money's going. The biggest piece of the pie, a full quarter of it, is going to watching the seas, maritime surveillance. And right behind that, you've got inspecting goods, biometrics, and risk analysis. It's a real multi-front effort. So let's dive into that first one and start out on the water.
So let's start at sea. The EU has some of the busiest, most sprawling maritime borders on the planet, and trying to monitor all of that is just a monumental task. This is exactly where AI is becoming a real game changer. I mean, just try to picture it. You've got thousands and thousands of kilometers of coastline, countless boats moving day and night. It is physically impossible for human operators to keep track of everything. They're trying to solve the ultimate needle in a haystack problem, finding that one suspicious boat among thousands.
So how does this actually work in the real world? This is a fantastic example from a project they called Effector. It all started when a fisherman just uploaded a photo of a boat that looked a little off. The AI system then grabbed that photo, instantly fused it together with satellite images and other vessel tracking data, and flagged it as an anomaly. That single alert allowed authorities to coordinate across different countries and intercept a migrant smuggling operation in just a few hours. That right there is the power of this stuff in action.
Okay, so from the wide-open seas, let's head into the ports and land crossings. Here, the whole challenge shifts. It's not about tracking boats anymore. It's about trying to figure out what's hidden inside millions of nearly identical steel boxes.
The sheer amount of stuff moving around the globe is just staggering. If you tried to physically inspect every single container, global commerce would grind to a halt. And of course, that creates a huge security gap that smugglers love to exploit for everything from drugs and weapons to counterfeit goods.
So the old way of doing things was pretty basic, some simple x-rays and a lot of gut instinct. The new AI approach is a whole different world. We're talking about projects that are using multiple, advanced scanning technologies and then letting an AI analyze all the results to automatically spot weird things, identify materials, and flag suspicious cargo with way more accuracy.
And one of the most futuristic pieces of tech they're testing is something called muon tomography. It sounds like science fiction, I know, but it's totally real. See, there are these natural particles from space called muons raining down on us constantly. Think of it like a gentle cosmic shower that passes through everything. By setting up detectors that measure how these particles scatter as they pass through a container, an AI can actually build a 3D model of what's inside and even identify different materials based on their density. It's wild.
All right, we've covered the sea and we've covered cargo. Now for the final piece of the puzzle. Us, people. The big goal here is to make crossing the border faster and smoother for legit travelers while making it more secure against threats. Just imagine walking through an airport or any border crossing without ever having to stop. Your identity gets verified instantly, securely as you're on the move. That's the vision that's driving all this. The idea is to get rid of the long lines while actually bumping up security at the same time.
And to make that happen, they're developing a whole suite of technologies. We're talking about facial recognition that works while you're walking, contactless fingerprint and iris scanners, and even AI that can spot a forged passport just by analyzing microscopic details in the printing. And a really crucial part of this is something called liveness detection, which is just a fancy way of saying the AI can tell it's looking at a real live person and not just a photo or a mask.
So we've seen the incredible potential here, right? This tech could make borders way more efficient and a lot more secure. But, and this is a big but, this kind of power doesn't come without raising some very, very important questions.
I mean, anytime you start using such powerful tools for surveillance and data analysis, you have to stop and think about how they could be misused or what the unintended consequences might be. So what are the big worries when it comes to an AI-powered border?
Well, the concerns really fall into a few main buckets. First, there's just the idea of constant surveillance. Where do we draw the line? Then there's the question of the algorithms themselves. Could they be biased? Could they learn to unfairly target certain groups of people based on the data they're fed? And of course, all of that leads to even bigger conversations about transparency, accountability, and, how all of our personal data is being kept safe. This quote here from an analysis by civil liberties groups really gets to the heart of the whole thing. The goal might be security, but the tools being built to achieve it have some profound implications. Finding the right balance, that's the central challenge that everyone, from policymakers to the tech developers themselves, is wrestling with.
Look, the technology is moving forward at an incredible pace. It's helping to intercept smugglers, find illegal goods, and make travel smoother. But the bigger question remains, can we actually design these systems to be effective, transparent, unbiased, and respectful of our fundamental rights? That right there, that is the defining question for the future of Europe's borders. Thanks for joining us.